Welcome to #Wednesdays Weekly, a weekly information session in collaboration with the voluntary sector and public sector partners. Today's session is Carers Hub Rochdale, a service briefing session, and our host today is Aimee. Over to you, Aimee.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Hi, I'm Aimee Errock and I'm the service manager for Rochdale Carers Hub. So I'm just going to tell you a bit about what we offer and also a bit more information about carers. So our Carers Hub is in place to provide a single point of access for all carers, including young carers and young adult carers and adult carers in the borough of Rochdale. We exist to ensure that carers of all ages have access to information, advice and a wide range of support services to give carers an opportunity to take a break from their caring role. Rochdale Carers Hub is part of Encompass. It was a charity who deliver health and wellbeing services throughout the north of England. And there's an email address for the charity down there. So, definition of a carer. We like to explain this at the start of our briefings because often people can be unclear about what a carer is. So in this context, we're referring to unpaid carers. So it is anyone, including children and adults, who look after a family member, partner or friend who needs help because of an illness, frailty, disability, a mental health problem, addiction, and cannot cope without that support. The care they give is unpaid. It covers lots of different things, helping with personal care, eating, medication, taking to appointments, shopping, or just offering emotional support. Broadly, this is from the Care Act. A carer is somebody who provides support or looks after a family member, partner or friend who needs help because of their age, physical or mental illness or disability. And it would not usually include someone paid or employed to carry out that role or someone who is a volunteer. Just some data on adult carers here that I want to talk to you about. So the census from 2011 shows Rochdale Borough to have 23,000 people who describe themselves as carers, which represents around 10.6% of Rochdale Borough's population in 2011, which was above the England average. The greatest number of carers are of working age, particularly between the ages of 35 to 64. With the highest number of people in Rochdale becoming carers between the ages of 55 and 59. Carers in Rochdale are most likely to be female, with the highest proportion of female carers being within the working age band. Majority of carers provide between 1 and 19 hours care per week. A smaller number provide between 20 and 49 hours, and 6,000 provide 50 plus hours of care per week. However, the trend is for the number of hours of care to increase with the age of the carer. Carers UK undertook some research in 2004 and found locally that 22.2% of carers providing 50 plus hours of care reported that they were in poor health, against 13.77% of the non-carer population. And some of the causes of poor health are described as lack of information, lack of breaks, lack of support, isolation and financial stress. And these are all things that we can directly help carers with. Some facts and figures on data on young carers. So there are estimated to be between 2,000 and 6,000 young carers in the Rochdale Borough, many of whom won't be reaching their full potential because of the impact of caring on their lives. Young carers form an invisible group of vulnerable children, and they typically take on caring responsibilities for a family member, doing tasks that are appropriate for an adult, trying to keep the family together alongside being at school, being at college. In order to protect themselves, the young carer may choose to keep this role a secret, which can make them vulnerable to bullying and conflicts with the demands of school life, particularly in regards to attendance, completion of homework, etc. Research indicates that 27% of carers of secondary school age experience problems at school. Young carers have said that they want the school, teachers and other staff to be more supportive of their caring role, recognising the demand between balancing the home life and education. Young carers can be bullied, socially isolated, and it can have a real impact on their education and social development. These are some facts according to the Carers Trust and data, which is there are 175,000 young carers in the UK. 13,000 of those care for over 50 hours per week. 50,000 children and young people look after someone with a mental health problem, and a whopping 68% of young carers are bullied at school. So our priority is ensuring that carers of all ages are supported so that they can continue in the caring role. And this is really important for as long as they wish to do so, whilst maintaining their own health and well-being. So this is our service model in Rochdale. So we will receive a referral through our service access team, who are contactable via phone, via email, and we're also contactable via free post. I can send all this detail to Michelle to forward on to you after the session. Our service access team will then contact the carer, register them onto our system, find out roughly what sort of support, guidance, information they're looking for so they can best allocate it. That referral is then passed over to myself, and I will then look at the carer's profile, the information given, and I will match them up with a carer's information support officer, and I match them up based on the officer's skills, their location, what the carer is looking for, and what their speciality might be. That officer will then get in touch with the carer directly and arrange for an initial assessment, where they'll go through an assessment, they'll identify any unmet needs that they have and create a support plan alongside the carer. They'll then conduct a few one-to-one sessions with that carer to achieve the outcomes detailed of the support plan. They'll signpost them to various services. They potentially can provide them with some vouchers, which I'll talk about afterwards. They'll share lots of details about all the events and activities that we've got on offer for carers. And this is part of our wider wraparound services that we'll just offer to carers constantly. So after they've had their initial, usually up to about 6 one-to-one sessions, we'll put them on our register, and then they can still access our events, our activities, and still get in touch with us if they need any additional information after that. So some of our wraparound services, so information, guidance, support on very specific topics, and we will help the carers to take a break and do something for themselves. We have lots of ways that we do this. We have various coffee and chat sessions that run throughout Rochdale. So we've got these in Littleborough, in Middleton, in Rochdale Centre, and in Haywood as well. We have various pamper sessions running. Then we have lots of different special one-off activities. For example, we have like a stroll and lunch in Queen's Park. We have purchased some tickets for Rochdale Feel Good Festival. We can offer what we call our My Time voucher scheme for eligible carers, so they can access a pamper, they can go out for lunch, they maybe might want to get some reflexology, and they can redeem those vouchers at locations throughout Rochdale. They can even access your trust memberships through those vouchers as well. We'll give support to working carers. We'll get quite a lot of information about employment opportunities. And we also have our own volunteer scheme in Encompass. So we can, if they are wanting to get into work or wanting to do something, we can support them to get a volunteer opportunity with ourselves or with other agencies if that's what they want to do. And this is a really important one as well that we deal with, is creating emergency plans and giving them an emergency card. Often we see that carers always put themselves last and don't think about themselves if they were ever in a situation where they needed to go into hospital or they were unable to care for the person that is relying on that support. So we'll work with them to look at what other networks they can establish to try and get some support in place in case of an emergency. They'll get a little card that they can keep on them at all times to let services know that there is someone that is relying on their help. And they have a Lions pot as well, which they can keep in the fridge at home and have a sign on the door so that if ever an emergency service came to the home, they'd know immediately they were a carer, and then they get the details of the person they were caring for in the fridge. We also give out newsletters 3 times a year, which has got loads and loads of information. It looks like this picture on the right. And we've got lots of different things in there, like support to get free legal advice, other community programs that are running that can help them, mental health specific stuff. So yeah, we've got a lot on. So once we've undertaken our assessment, we'll regularly check in with carers via phone, video call, face-to-face, and we'll just do whatever they prefer. We know how busy and demanding the lives of carers can be, so we just adapt and mould ourselves around whatever they need. For example, we have a carer at the moment who we're supporting who has no time during the week whatsoever, and we don't work at the weekends. So we will meet her on a lunch break at a cafe and have a coffee and a chat with her so that she has that opportunity to see someone. We also have our Facebook page. It's just Carers Hub Rochdale, and we provide all updates to all our activities that are going on, any new resources that have come through, opportunities for the various free things that are going on in Rochdale, and we're constantly updating and sharing things on there. We also have a closed Facebook group for adults, so that people might feel like they want to be a bit more freer and have a little chat on there. And we have various digital activities and courses. We have things like a yoga session. We have evening coffee and chats for those carers that can't come out of the house to attend our face-to-face coffee and chats. We have things like walk a mile with a lovely gentleman called Frank, who will just for a 5-minute session just come on and encourage people on Zoom and encourage people to walk and get some exercise in the homes. We also have our own Carers Community Network, which is sort of like forums, and carers can choose specific topics that they're really interested in. And this is overseen by some of our volunteers and some of our other carers who will monitor this and make sure that there is always someone there to answer any questions, or just be there as a chat to someone. If they're up at 2 o'clock in the morning because they can't speak, you're guaranteed to find someone else on there that they can have a chat with. This is what our Carers Community Network looks like, so they can find out all our activities going on there as well. There is also a Carers UK digital resource which carers can access for free. We used to have a code for this, but now GPs have the code, so we will support carers to access the code from the GP if they need to. This is a fantastic resource that carers really, really do enjoy. I touched on this briefly before, but our My Time voucher scheme. So for any carers who are eligible to receive these vouchers, they'll be provided with vouchers by us. And we worked in partnership with various companies throughout Rochdale. So for example, they might redeem some of the vouchers to go and get a full English breakfast and a drink at the park. They might go and get a massage. They might go and get the nails done, the hair done. They might go and do a walk with alpacas. They might go and get some reflexology, anything that they like. And the idea is that once they've tried something new, that maybe they'll continue to do it after the vouchers have finished, or even if they don't want to continue doing it, it just gives them that opportunity for a much needed break. And we can also do the Your Trust, like I mentioned before, that's swim or gym. And a HMR Circle membership is on there as well. And for our younger carers, we will give them prepaid vouchers for whatever they like. We find it's really popular for young carers wanting to go to like Nando's with their friends or go to the cinema. So we'll give them some vouchers so that they can do things like that. We also have a 24-hour chat line, which is the Carers Help and Hotline, which is run by volunteers. So this is inward calls and outward calls as well. So we ask carers if they want to call up anytime and give them the number so that they just have access to that number, so that they can just get some emotional support, a listening ear whenever they need it. If they prefer more of a scheduled call with a volunteer that they match up with well personality-wise, we can do that as well. So they might get a once weekly call, and I see these calls because I get statistics on how long these calls last, and they're often hour and a half, so people are having a really long chat with someone that they can really build a relationship with. We also offer a sitting-in service. This stopped during COVID, but we're restarting this slowly, and it's a really popular service, as I'm sure you can imagine, where we provide a volunteer who we match up with a carer who can sit in the house with the cared for whilst the carer takes a break for a couple of hours. We have quite a specific criteria on this, but we have had some carers that have really enjoyed this service, so they can maybe just go out for a walk, go for a coffee with a friend. Some of them just want to go upstairs and do their ironing, read a book, and just get that space and don't have to worry about the person that they're caring for whilst they have that valuable time. We also run our pen pal scheme for people who are a little bit more old school and prepare a handwritten letter. So our volunteers will be matched up with carers again, and they will write a handwritten letter to a carer once a month, and then in the hopes that they build that relationship that way and they can receive that letter. And as I mentioned before, we have our coffee and chat and all our activities going on. I wish I could list them all for you now because they are absolutely fantastic, and I'm happy to send out the newsletter with details of that, because this is often the most attractive thing that carers find about our service, and they're always very nervous when they attend the first coffee and chat or activity, thinking that they won't like it, thinking that people might just be moaning or they might be clicky, but we get so much good feedback and people just look visibly relieved when they come out of there. Just some nice pictures of some of the activities that we've got going on. We still run lots of online sessions because, like I said before, some carers find it much easier to be online so they don't have to leave the person that they're caring for. And bottom right there, we have our carers choir, which has been going on for many, many years and is really, really popular. So our young carers have access to a closed Facebook group, and we also have an Instagram page, which is just Rochdale Young Carers, Young Carers for Rochdale for the Instagram. We've got loads of fun things going on for young carers. So we have regular in-group sessions. We do various activities. We'll base it on what the young carers want to do. So, for example, we now run 2 monthly groups in Rochdale, and on one of them they all decided they wanted a movie night, so everyone came in their pajamas, they picked a movie, they got some popcorn and some snacks, and they all watched a movie together, and they've built some really, really nice friendships going to these groups. But we'll do other things like sports days, circus skills, crafts, cooking, baking. In the half terms, we run activities in various locations. So in February half term, we did one at Flip Out, the trampolining park. We did a cinema trip, and we do a bowling trip for the young adults, just a smaller group. And we also got some funding from Action Together, where we now can provide transport for young carers, which we're really pleased about, because this was one of the main barriers to getting young carers a break. Because they just couldn't get there because the person that they're caring for was often a parent who couldn't drive, didn't have an access to get them to where they needed to go. So now we've removed that barrier, and we're so pleased about it because our attendance at these events now is fantastic. We also have Zoom sessions for the young carers that can attend in person, or sometimes they like to do both. We'll deliver things like a pizza making kit to the house, and then we'll go on Zoom, and then everyone will make a pizza together, or we'll deliver a craft kit and then they'll go on and make something together. And again, these are really, really well attended and they really enjoy them. Just some nice pictures of our young carers. And we always have loads of Christmas parties and stuff and things going on at Christmas. Just some comments from some of our carers. So we've got one that says, you came along at just the right time, which I really like. Feeling like they've been helped, they've had a really good experience, done something different, they've managed to make friends, they feel like they've had their voice heard. So yeah, we're just really pleased about the work we get to do. We are currently running a Carer Champion programme where we are asking professionals throughout Rochdale to become Carer Champions, so that then they would be the point of contact in their team, in their workplace, for if ever a carer becomes identified or they think that it might be a carer, that they would have all the up-to-date information about carer services available in Rochdale, and then they would be able to refer to the Rochdale Carers Hub or elsewhere. And what we need a Carer Champion to do is to attend carer awareness training, which takes between 1 and 2 hours, and we can do that online. And commit to attending Carer Champion meetings, which can be anywhere between 2 and 3 times per year. And it's just a really nice opportunity to network as well and meet other professionals. Being the main point of contact, as I mentioned before, to help identify carers, because often it is really hard to identify carers, and we realise we're not in the unique position where we have that initial contact with people all the time and are able to say, you sound like you're a carer, but we know that other people in different professions do have that opportunity, and we'd really appreciate anyone supporting carers to identify. Maintaining and refreshing notice boards. I'm sure you've all seen them in your GP practices, in your offices. You see a carers information notice board, and there's out-of-date material on there. You might not have even noticed it, but I promise you will now. You'll see things on there, leaflets torn down and not much on there. So keeping that up-to-date and refreshed with up-to-date events and information going on. Ensuring that your workplace has sound procedures in place for identifying and supporting carers, and coordinating referrals, which actually isn't as complicated as it sounds. Our referral process is really simple. It's 1 A4 sheet of paper, which can be sent over electronically via email. Should take no more than a couple of minutes to fill out and send over. As soon as our team have that, we take it from there, and you don't have any more involvement then, but it's just making sure that referral gets through. when carers are put in the position often where they're asked to self-refer, we find that that paper ends up on a stack of numerous other amounts of papers that they've got going on and gets forgotten about, because again, they will put themselves last, as we see quite a lot of the time. So we would love it if professionals who are nice and quick at emailing and typing could just send that over to us, and we can then take it from there with the carer. So if any of you would like to become a carer champion, please do email me and I will give you a bit more information about it and send you all the dates of the next training session, and you get a nice shiny badge as well. Just about our referral process. So this is what our referral form looks like. We call it an expression of interest form. So as you can see, it's relatively simple to fill out. The carer's details, obviously with their consent, your details, and then it's how to send it to us. You can send it via email, you can put it in a free post, you can call us if you're not sure if it qualifies. If they qualify as a carer, we get that a lot. Are they a carer? They do the shopping for the neighbour a couple of times a week, and they pop in on them every day to make sure they're safe. Yes, they are a carer. If they're in any sort of caring role, providing unpaid care, they are a carer. But if you've got those questions, you can just come to us and ask us that. And alternatively, you can just email me and ask me as well. I get quite a lot of professionals who will just email and say, can I just give you a quick call about this person that I've just come across and see what you think and see if there's anything that you can do to help. So yeah, we're always there. Has anyone got any questions for me?
Thank you, Aimee.